Hey guys, it's Bree. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week. One of the things that I have come across recently, and is something I feel like I come across quite often, is people talking about when to DNF books. If you are unfamiliar with the term DNF, it stands for do not finish or did not finish. And this is basically when you kind of get to a certain point in a book that you put it down and you're like, I'm good. I don't need to read any more of this. And especially among people who are really big readers, this is a hard thing to do. There's like an emotional commitment to finishing a book that I think we all kind of struggle with. So there are a couple of conversations that I think really come to the forefront when you're talking about this. The first is it fair to not finish a book, or are you obligated to finish a book? And this is an interesting one because you have a couple of different schools of thought, particularly among reviewers. One, that if you are starting a book, you are kind of obligated to finish what you start, right? It's one of those things like winners never quit and quitters never win mentality, and I'm just not sure it applies to books. I tend to fall more into the category of people who says, hey, I have a really short time on earth. I'm never gonna finish all the books that I want to finish. And if I'm not enjoying it, there's no sense in me spending more of my time on something that I don't enjoy than I have to. And I'll admit, a big part of the reason that I feel this way has a lot to do with my history in academia. I spent a lot of years in academics. I have my MA in political science. There's just a lot of forced reading that you have when you go that far in education, and I have a hard time forcing myself to read when I feel like I'm just supposed to be reading for fun. If it were something like I was really committed to doing a project where I was reading all of the classics or something like that, I can understand that a little bit more. But when it comes to contemporary or modern fiction, I don't feel that same attachment. It's not the kind of thing like I need to finish Dostoevsky because I need that for context, or I want that for context for the rest of the field of literature. For me, my general rule of thumb is that if I get 100 pages in and I don't like it, I put it down. The kind of follow-up to that is asking how people feel about reviewing books that they didn't finish. And this is where it's a little bit more internal to the bookish community here on like BookTube or Goodreads, blogging and things like that. Because there's this real sense that if you didn't finish it or play it the whole way through, or, you know, see it done, that can you really say that you have a good grasp of the book? I find myself not being very consistent on this because for me, I feel like you have enough there if you've read a good couple hundred pages, if you've gotten halfway through the book, to be able to articulate why you didn't like it or why it just did not work for you. And for me, that's what at heart a review really is. It's the ability to articulate what in a book or in a movie or in a game is working or is not working for you. And there's something I think actually very valuable in a DNF review. If someone I really trust could not finish a book, then as a consumer, I probably know that it's not going to be a book for me. That being said, if I watch that review or I read that review and they say, and it's because of this particular reason, I can then go ahead and identify whether that's actually going to be a deal breaker for me. And sometimes, we talked about this on the live show at Elizabeth's a couple weeks ago, sometimes a DNF review is the best kind of review, or it really actually sells you on a book, because you go through and you hear the list or you read the list of why someone didn't like it, and you're like, but I know that that would be right up my alley. So I tend to be partial actually to DNF reviews. That being said, I don't do them very often, and part of me feels like I want to stay positive, so I want to just highlight things that worked well for me. Part of me feels, especially in the internet age, that if I put something negative out there, an author will see it, and I just don't want to contribute to somebody else's like strife or worry. And part of me just kind of feels like, well, if I didn't like it, why spend the time reviewing it? And I have to remind myself of the really legitimate reasons for reviewing a book you didn't finish. With the caveat, of course, being that you say that you did not finish the book in your review. It's something that I feel like I should do more of, or I feel like I ought to focus on occasionally in highlighting books that I didn't like, because I know that those are very useful for people as well and can be a lot of fun to watch. Sometimes it's just like good to get that off your chest. But this is one where I feel like I don't necessarily have the best ability to articulate why I feel the way I feel or why I behave the way I behave when it comes to DNFing books and then reviewing them or not reviewing them. So do me a favor and in the comments down below, tell me, when do you DNF a book? And what do you think about reviews where people have DNF'd books? Are those useful for you? Are they interesting? Are they just kind of junk that clutters up your feed? I'm really interested in the way that other people see this because it's something that I'm still kind of trying to verbalize myself. But that I know is a very active conversation that we have here in the book community. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Remember to like and subscribe. And I will see you on Wednesday with a review. Bye.